Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Now, I think we all appreciate that classic cars like this look beautiful, but what we often forget is they were made many years ago, decades ago. So although they often look beautiful, let's be honest, most of them don't drive great, and they're not that quick either. And normally they don't stop very well. So what would happen if you took a classic, beautiful car like this and put a modern engine in it and updated the suspension and gave it decent brakes? Well, that's what we have here. I'm at Frontline Developments, and this is their Abingdon Edition MG, a beautiful looking car. But this is an MG for the modern day. This, my friends, this is going to be good. So let me take you around the basics of this car. We'll have a good look at it inside and out, and then we're going to take it up the road for a spin. So I guess the first thing is that what Frontline do here is they will either, you can come to them and they will provide a donor car and they will do all of the work, or a bit like this one, this is an owner's car who's had for a number of years, and they're basically updating engine, brake, suspension, handling, interior if they want. They have a trim shop upstairs as well. So underneath the bonnet we've got a 2.5 litre twin cam Mazda derived engine, and that is producing just shy of 300 horsepower and 242 pounds-feet of torque. This car only weighs 920 kilos, so that's about 320 brake horsepower per tonne. This is a little rocket ship, and I'm sure when we get outside, because it's quite a cold day, we will find out just what that feels like to drive. But then really other important things is you can't just put a big powerful engine in a classic car like this. You would be heading for disaster if you did. So the really important things that have been done is the suspension has had a complete rework. So we're going to go and have a look at some of that in a moment, but basically front and rear suspension changed, brakes updated and upgraded front and rear, so that we've got much better handling. We're able to deal with the power, and then when we get to a corner we put our foot in the middle pedal and we're able to stop, which is very important. And then we've got nice things like power steering, electric windows, a beautifully trimmed cabin. Very beautiful. So let's have a bit of a chat about the suspension. So I'm going to use this car to talk through because it's up on a lift and it's easy to get access to. First thing we can see here is at the back of these cars. Now originally the MGs ran leaf spring suspension, so they can still run leaf spring suspension with a live axle. They do have some really clever trick bits of extra equipment they can put on to make that handle better, but actually this has now been adapted, so we're running coilover suspension on the back, disc brakes on the back, with some nice juicy calipers, and then you can keep the kind of classic look of having the kind of centre lock. I just love these things, don't you? Centre lock wheels. The car that we're going to be taking out has the most beautiful Dunlop wheels, or you can go for wires. I've never been a big fan of wires for me. They look great, but I wouldn't want to own them. I think cleaning them would be a real nightmare. So yeah, rear suspension upgrades. Front suspension looks like this. So the most noticeable thing here is a big old set of vented discs, nice big calipers, but basically a completely new front suspension setup with anti-roll bars, multi-link suspension and coilovers. A completely upgraded, even things like the mounting points and so on, to make sure that this car goes around corners really well. So there's a huge amount of work that needs to take place underneath the car. I guess one of the things to note is, depending on the state of the donor car, depends on how much of the original car they need and how much work needs to go on with the chassis and so on. They don't just bolt that onto some old rusty heap. They make sure that the car is fully restored, and structurally the integrity of the car is really good, because ultimately these cars never originally had 300 horsepower, But yeah, it's great being able to kind of see close up what's going on under here, that's for sure. Well, I cannot wait any longer. I need to take this baby up the road for a spin. Now, the first thing to note about this interior is it's just so beautifully trimmed. So there's a trim shop upstairs, so as well as a full restoration and all the mechanicals we've talked about, you can also pretty much trim it out how you like. It is so beautiful. It has the mod cons though. Most importantly for today, it has heated seats because it's pretty chilly outside, and power steering, but it's just so retro but with all the nice modern twists. The other cool thing is these are the seat belts. That's it. Lap belts. Apparently the lap belts are there to kind of help clients understand that the car is a bit leery and you need to treat it with a bit of respect, and there we go. So if you put a full racing harness on, you might think you know, maybe have more talent than you really do. So I think we should take this up the road for a spin and talk about the driving dynamics of the car. Let me just check it's out of gear. Just we can hear all the fuel pumps going on. Oh dear. Oh my goodness me. Okay, let's go.
With this car out on the open road, I've taken a while to turn the cameras on while I just have a moment to myself. I had to go with the roof down. I know it's going to be blustery. If it is, I apologise, but I don't even know where to begin with this car. Obviously from the outside the looks are so classic, so beautiful, and inside it is an old classic car. It's got a beautiful wooden rim steering wheel. It's got all the old switch gear. It's got these lovely seats, these lap belts. It's very weird not having a proper seat belt. But when you start to drive it, it just has this classic car feel, but the modern capabilities. This gearbox, 6-speed, very close ratio gearbox. The throw from gear to gear is it's just delicious. And listen to that engine. 2.5 litre Mazda derived engine. Naturally aspirated. It's just wicked. And it's got brakes as well. Oh. Now I am being quite careful, because this road surface is treacherous and slippery. Look at the weather today, it's horrible. It's really cold as well. But I have heated seats. Oh, what a car! You can just quickly blend there. Oh my goodness me. It's a power to weight ratio of 320 horsepower per tonne. This thing only weighs 920 kilos. And you can feel it. It's just so light. The steering feels actually really good. But it's a really nice... Oh, it's like driving used to be, engaging, and it's just enveloping all of my senses, truly visceral. Wow! And what's great is, especially on a road like this, just so engaged in the drive. When I know this car, there's none of the aids you get on a modern car. Nothing like, ABS or traction control, none of that rubbish. Just you, your right foot, a decent feel on the brake pedal, and a really big pair of big boys' pants. But they do some very special things to them to make them have the horsepower they do, but also the longevity. And they're not a race engine, they've just got such a lovely driving character to them. There's like 20 grand's worth of engine in this. And if there's one thing to be said for the old MG, it never had a great engine in it, really. It certainly never had the performance of this thing. It just goes round the corners so well. It's got a really nice feel to it. It doesn't wallow, or it's just very flat. The suspension's very compliant. It's not hard or crashy at all. Those brakes have got a nice feel to them. And then hello, Cheeky! Oh, days like this, in a car like this, on a road like this. This, my friends, this is why I do YouTube. I haven't felt as connected to a car as I am right now for a long time. It's got to be something like a Caterham that does it for you. It's awesome! What I love about this car around town, firstly, it's really easy to drive. The clutch is really nice. The gearbox is so slick and so easy. And it's a really light, small car, so very easy to manoeuvre around. But what I love most about it is the kind of looks you get from people. It's not the, oh, look at that idiot in a supercar, or look at that idiot in a loud, crashy, bangy boy racer car. It's, oh yeah, that's classy. Look at that beautiful car. It's just so classy and elegant. And it does sound brilliant. And when you obviously have to give it a bit of a blip on the downshift. Yeah, just do you know what? Driving this on lovely open country lanes is awesome. But driving it around a town where you've got walls to bounce the sound off of is just as cool. It's a smile generator, this car. You can't get in it and not smile. If you've had a bad day, if your life's not really going well, you need to just get in one of these and drive it for a bit, because suddenly the world's a great place and your life is okay. You do have to be a little bit careful of the I'm going to be smiling for the rest of the month. Because this thing, it's just beautiful. Everything about it, the little tiny wing mirrors, the chrome everywhere, the little wiper blades on a little, the switch of the wipers is just fantastic. Oh dear me, right. Let's go and find some more country lanes. Oh, I love this car. It's so easy to drive. I just find it fascinating how I'm sat in such a classic car with all the feel of a classic car, with the driving dynamics of a modern car. Look at that auditory pleasure in a modern car though, just listen to it, it's singing. But it's just so easy to drive. It's got a really good turning circle and steering lock, great brakes, creature comforts. It sounds awesome. So I guess one thing we haven't talked about is how much one of these costs. So you've got two options. You can have an MG yourself as a donor car, bring it to the guys at Frontline and they'll do all the work for you. Or you can buy it off the shelf and they'll source the car and you can spec everything and you know, you'll end up with a modern day recreation of a beautiful car. This car we're sat in, you're looking at around about 85,000 quid plus VAT. So let's call it around 100,000 quid. Which I know sounds like a huge amount of money. It's got a boot, it's got space, it's got luggage behind. You could go on a lovely road trip. I know Ed from Frontline drove one of these to the Alps in one go. Easy peasy. Wow. So I have to say a huge thank you to Ed and all the guys at Frontline for letting me play with their baby today. She really is very, very special. You guys asked me to get more classic content on the channel. And how's this for starters? Let me know if you want me to drive anything else. It's always difficult to get hold of them, but getting a car like this for the day, very special. But I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol, plenty more content to come. But you know, if I had 100,000 quid in the bank and I wanted a lovely weekend car, I know where my money would be going. Oh.